Welcome coders. In this video we will learn how to use super function in Python. Let's say there are two classes and they have parent-child relationship between them. In this situation, if we want to initialize a parent class data member from a child class, we need to use super function. The diagram which you are seeing right now, it shows the situation that we are having now. The situation is the parent class is having two member variables, first name and last name, and the child class is having a member variable called role. Now they are having a parent-child relationship. So when we are applying inheritance, the child class is inheriting all the properties of the parent class. So in this case, in this scenario, child class is getting the first name and last name from the parent class. So the child class is having whole total 3 member variables. Now from a child class, how can we initialize the member variables of a parent class? See, child class can easily initialize the member variable of its own class, but how to initialize a member variables of the parent class? Now in this situation, super functions come into the picture. Now we will code it and we will learn how to use super function. So let's see how we can implement it. We have opened a Jupyter notebook. Now in this notebook we will write our code, and to implement that functionality or to simulate that, we need to have a parent class that will have two member functions. So let's say we are giving a class name called class person. Okay, now that class person will have two member variables. So to define that, we will have init, and the first keyword will be self, the second one will be fname, it denotes first name, then lname. Okay, lname. Then we will initialize, so it will be self dot first name equal to fname, self dot last name equal to lname. Okay, once this is done, then we will create one more function that will return the first name and last name together. Okay, so we'll give, let's say the function name will be get full name, and it will take an argument or the parameter called self. Okay, now we will return it. Now we will return it, and we will have some f string so that we can easily format the first name and last name. It will have one curly brackets, pair of curly brackets. Then we will give self dot first name one space, then self dot last name. Okay, so this is our parent class. Now what it does, it takes first name and last name and it initializes to first name and last name member variables. Okay, using this self keyword. Now this function get full name, it does it kind of adds, or it kind of concatenates first name and last name, and it has a one space between the two variables. Okay, the two, I mean the space denotes this space. Okay, this one space bar denotes one space between the first name and last name, so that it will have a nice looking formatting. So this is our parent class. Okay, now the child class, let's say our child class is student. Okay, and it inherits from person. Okay, now we'll have def init here also. Now it will have self, then it will have the first name, then last name, then role. Okay, now the rule is the init of student will have its member variable plus the member variable of its parents, whole three together. Okay, now this two is these two. Okay, and this role is exclusively belongs to student class. Once this is done, then we will implement super, or we will call the super function. Okay, super function, that's it. Now same init, what is that? The member variable is, I mean the parameter is fname, so we'll give fname here, fname, then lname. Okay, now what will happen, this fname and lname will come here, then from here onwards it will get transferred to in this place. Okay, so this is all about the super, how to call. Now what we will do, we will create one more function that will return the roll number of student, or you can say the child in this scenario. Okay, so it will have self, now return self dot roll. Now what is happening here, we are having a child class. Now this child class is accepting the member variables of its parents and the exclusive member variable of the student, that is roll. Okay, now one code I have missed, that is initialization of roll. That will be self dot roll equal to roll. Okay, so it is initializing its own exclusive member variable and the parent class member variables. Now it's time to create a one object. Let's say I created a student object, and it looks like student, and it will accept 3 parameters: first name, last name, and role. So let's say we give the first name called John, the second name, I mean the last name, we will give, let's say, Matthew, and we give a roll number of 9. Okay, so see, our student object got created. Now if we use one print function to get the student object dot full name, let's see, it is accepting the full name, sorry, it is get full name, no? Okay, yeah, get full name. So if we execute this function, if everything goes all right, then we will get John space Matthew in a proper formatted manner. See, we are getting the same. Now we can get the roll number also. Now how to get that one? Let's say student object dot get roll 9. Okay, so what we are doing exactly, we have a student class object, but as we are using inheritance, so we can use the parent class function because it inherits all the properties of its parent. So we are using parent class function and we are getting the name from this method. Okay, so the flow of data goes like this. First, John and Matthew is getting accepted here. From here it goes to this super function. Now super function gets called. When super function is getting called, the first name and last name comes in this 2 line and it get initialized, and whenever this get full name is called, the full name get returned. So this is how super keyword is used.